Okay, now we're going to talk about what in the FMS or functional movement systems world is called the hard roll and cross crawls. So as somebody that we talked about my hips in the intro, I've got torn labrums and high alpha angles, cam style, FAI. I got stuff going on at my hips. My ability to maintain deep hip flexion and control and strength in that deep hip flexion position is actually really important. And it's important for pretty much everybody else as well. One of the contradictions that we get into at the hip flexors is we're so concerned about tight hip flexors and hip flexion, we give ourselves weak hip flexors. That's not a good trade-off. The hips need to be smart. That anterior chain needs to know when to allow hip extension to occur, and it needs to know how to produce really strong, deep hip flexion. The cross crawl and hard roll are a great way to make sure that's in place. This is one of my canaries in the coal mine. This is one of those things it's how I finish my movement prep, my ground-based movement. If this doesn't feel good, if I can't produce good hip flexion, I know I need to go back and probably stretch my anterior chain a little bit more. I have a little bit more work to do to feel like I'm really ready to hit my training session. So I'm going to do it. We'll talk about it. Give you a little side view here. So I get into this extended position, and my goal is to pull opposite elbow to opposite knee. Without compensating much on the extended leg. On the 7th rep, I maintain the connection and do the hard roll. Okay. Was that perfect? No. Because of what I've got going on in the structure of my hips, for me to flex my hip that deep, I end up changing pelvis position just a little bit. And so I'll get a little movement on that straight leg, right? Pulling the elbow to the knee, great way to hit that cross connection through the midsection. Really good actual abdominal exercise, really kind of a good tension technique and that deep hip flexion. So I'm going to change angles just a little bit so you can see one more time what's happening. Then for the hard roll, notice in the hard roll, I'm locked up. I've got opposite elbow to opposite knee. I've got a straight line, hopefully, through that extended leg. Got the other arm overhead. The only thing that can roll me, my eyes and my neck. And that's how you learned how to stabilize yourself when you were an infant. So this really kind of helps reset a lot of how we earned our movement. So the cross crawl, I'll do 6, then number 7 and 8 are my hard rolls, and then I do a 9 and 10 cross crawl. And that's how I finish every ground-based movement warm-up, and it's become one of my key canaries in the coal mine.